Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's a very exciting video because we are looking at all the books that I read in 2025 that I would recommend forever. Like, these are the books that stuck with me the most from throughout 2025. And for context, I read 89 books last year and only 11 have made this list. So yeah, let's look at what 11 books it was. The first book on the list is When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker, I want to say. And this was a really early read in 2025 for me. I read it back in January 2025 and it was so good. And I had no expectations going in. I read this on Kindle Unlimited and I was just like, oh, I've seen some things about this. It's meant to be good. I'm going to read it. Didn't even realize it's a hefty book. Like, it is so hefty. It's like 800, 900 pages. It was a very spontaneous decision and it was so good. It doesn't feel that long. If like size puts you off, don't let it, because it goes so quickly and there's so much world building and character building that you just feel so invested. It's just amazing. It's basically a romantic novel about an assassin. We love an assassin main character. It's like doing the wrong things but doing them for the right reasons, kind of Robin Hood style character. And yeah, it's just so good. There's dragons. We love a book with dragons. I saw like a little blog post on Goodreads and it was like, some people love romance, some people love dragons. Turns out a lot of people love both. And who would have thought, like 15, 20 years ago, there'd be so many of us girlies obsessed with dragons, and here we are. This book has got the dragons, so definitely recommend it. And the second one comes out this year. I'm so excited to read it. Honestly, if you're a romantasy lover, this book is definitely for you. The second book is The Life Cycle of a Common Octopus by Emma Nye. And again, I just wasn't expecting this to be a forever recommend, love 5-star read. And it was. I actually read it as an ARC book, so I'd never even heard of it. I think this book was Emma Nye's debut novel, which is why I'd never heard of her before, but I'd also never heard of the book or anything to do with it. So yeah, I had no expectations going in and it was so good. It's basically a coming of age story about a Canadian main character, Pen, and she goes off to Edinburgh University and she picks Edinburgh because she thinks some of her family secrets might be there. So you have two things happening at the same time. You have her trying to uncover her family history, family secrets, and her just experiencing her first year of uni and having all those coming of age experiences. And they intertwine so well. We have first love, friendships, just classic UK uni life, and it just all goes together so nicely. And it's just such a good story. It's one of those books that when it finished, I didn't want it to be over because I wanted to spend more time with the characters. I just felt like I really liked them and I wanted to know even more about them. Yeah, because I liked them. It was just a really good time. Definitely recommend this one. Especially, I'm trying to think of another book that would gives the same vibe as this. Maybe, what's that Dolly Alderton book? Everything I Know About Love. That is a memoir, but I feel like it's maybe similar vibe. Okay, we're doing a complete U-turn in genre again. The third book on the list is In Memoriam by Alice Wynne, another debut novel. And what a debut novel. This book is amazing. It's such a good historical fiction novel. It is a World War I novel, and I haven't read too many of those. I think I've read a lot of World War II novels. I always say this, and even months on from having read this book, I've still not read many World War I ones. But it's so good. Basically, we have two main characters and they both attend an all-boys school. I think they're in what in the UK we would call sixth form, but they're around 16, 17 age. And they're at an all-boys boarding school and World War I has started. Many of the boys in the elder years have gone off to fight and are dying, essentially. One of our main characters is basically pressured into joining the army and having to go onto the front line because he is half German and his family is facing so much hate and questioning because they're half German. So he sort of goes off to stand up for his family and show whose side they're on. But our two main characters, they both basically are in love with each other and neither of them know the other one loves the other one. So when Gaunt, this one main character, goes off to the war, Elwood, I think that was his name, he goes off and goes onto the front line with him. And it's basically just a story of love, but also of the devastating, horrible brutality of war And I would say as well, and this is just coming back to me now, it's very nuanced in the way it talks about war, and it definitely like highlights how like one thing I'd never thought about, particularly of World War One, is the privilege, the power of privilege for soldiers in the war. So if you're coming from a rich family, you might get put somewhere that's a bit safer. And yeah, I don't even know if I'm remembering it correctly how it reflected on it, but I just found it very interesting how it really did try to incorporate so much of that part of the history as well. It was just so well researched and so cleverly done. I think Alice Wynne might work in history. I don't know if I'm making that up. Anyway, it is an absolutely brilliant book. If you love historical fiction, read it because it's outstanding. I bet I'm going to say the word outstanding so much in this video. Right, maybe I should like brainstorm some different adjectives. You can tell I'm a reader, not a writer, though reading obviously does hopefully enhance your vocabulary. What book are we on now? Book number 4. We have Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is the 5th book in the Hunger Games series. You basically have the 3 first books and then we have 2 prequels. This is the 5th book, the 2nd prequel, and it follows Haymitch's Hunger Games. If you don't know what Hunger Games are, which the movies are massive, I'm sure you do, even if you haven't read the books, but the concept of them is it's set in this dystopian world, and this dystopian government basically have a reality TV show where they get kids from all over the country, or teenagers from all over the country, 2 from each district, 2 from each of the 12 districts, and they have to kill each other for reality TV. And it's all about like keeping the peace. There's a lot more to it than that, but that is basically the gist. Anyway, this one is about the 50th Hunger Games, and it is Haymitch's Hunger Games. Haymitch is the mentor of Katniss and Peeta in the first book. No spoilers here. We basically see him in his Hunger Games 25 years before that, or 24 years before the first book is set. And he's one of my favourite characters, so getting to see him in his younger years was amazing. But obviously we do know a lot about Haymitch later in life, so we know where certain things are going, which is very different from the reading experience you have with the first 3 books. I was a bit like, is that going to affect it? But it didn't at all. Like, some stakes like obviously felt lower, but it also just gave it this sad and ominous feeling, and like you're on the edge of your seat the whole time. I don't know, I can't explain it. It was just so good. The 4th Hunger Games book, the first prequel, A Ballad for Songbird and Snakes, definitely wouldn't make it onto my forever recommend list. Like, it was a good book and I did really enjoy it, but I think my enjoyment came from being a Hunger Games fan and getting to sort of reminisce on being obsessed with the Hunger Games when I was a teenager, whereas this was genuinely an outstanding book. It was so good, and it's definitely on the same level as the first 3 books for me. So go and read it. If you've not read the Hunger Games, I could not recommend them all. They are so good. Now, can I get through a video without mentioning a Christian Hannah book? No, I cannot. Of course not, especially when recommending books. Christian Hannah, I love her, and I read, I think 2, maybe 3 new Christian Hannah books last year, and one of them, of course, made it onto this list, and that is, I think, her most recent. No, I think it might now be her. I think there is one more recent one out which I have not read yet, but The Women, which is one of her more recent publications, and it's a great book. It really is. It's a historical fiction novel, and it follows the nurses, American nurses, who went to work in Vietnam during the Vietnam-America War. It's heavy. It's really heavy. You have actually the book was less focused just on the war than I expected, because that's all I knew going in, and a lot of it is set during that period, and that is horrific to read about. But also some of the scenes that really stay with me was actually the second half of the book, which is the experience of our main character on her return to America. Yeah, it's very eye-opening and gave me a lot of things to think about. It was just so sad, so sad. Also quite hopeful. I think one of my favourite things about this book is the value and the magic that is female friendship. or just friendship in general, but like having a strong, solid group of friends. It definitely has like a found family element to it in the friends she makes, and I love my closest friends and I love all my friends, but like I do have those few people that are just like ride or die, and I love it when I can see that same relationship in characters together in a book. I'm just like, oh, it makes me like feel closer to my friends. And yeah, I think it just gave this very difficult book a real like nice element to it at the same time. One of my 2025 reading goals was to read more classics, and I did that, which is great. And I'm so happy because 2 of the classics I read made it onto this list, and they are Northanger Abbey and Persuasion. They are, of course, both Jane Austen. If you've been watching my videos for a little while, you know I love Jane Austen, and I sort of said that as someone who had only really read Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility, and now I've got 2 more of her books and I just love them so much. And I put off reading this one particularly for so long, Northanger Abbey. I had it for a few years on my TBR, and just, yeah, I think it's because the word gothic is associated with this book. I wouldn't say this book is gothic, but the main character starts reading gothic novels in it, and it's also quite satirical, and it's meant to be very different from the rest of Jane Austen's work. So I just sort of put off reading it, probably because it had the word gothic to do with it, which I don't know. And it's now my favourite Jane Austen book. I loved it. I think as well, just because I was like, had lower expectations. I don't know why. It just was so good. It was so funny, and I just really, really vibed with the main character. It was such a good time. And then we have Persuasion, which I really liked because the main character's like development, or the development of the main character, was so subtle but so important, and it felt so realistic to how a lot of us develop over time. Like these massive changes that we often see characters go through aren't always realistic, as much as they are amazing to watch. She basically is persuaded and sort of led astray by other people so often. It was very small things. She would just have her opinions swayed by other people all the time, and we watch her sort of find her own voice and also just learn to trust her own instinct. And yeah, it's very, very good. I really enjoyed it. Also, I think I was on the edge of my seat for both of these. I just really wanted it to all work out, and even if it didn't go the way I was expecting, I was just like, what is going to happen next? I was very invested whilst reading both of these. I also have started annotating my classics. I feel like I've saying the same things in videos. You guys probably know that I annotate my classics now if you've been here a while. But I would say if you are hesitant to read classics, or you find them harder to understand, or you find that you just don't get as much pleasure from them, I really do recommend annotating them, like putting a little key in, and you can just do things that you like. It really helps with your understanding and, for me, your enjoyment as well. Okay, we have 4 more books to go. The last book is going to be my best book of 2025. So keep watching, find out what that is. But next we have Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Again, a super anticipated read, and it lived up to the hype. R.F. Kuang, said it before, will say it again, I've said it 100 times in my videos. One of the most talented writers of our generation. She is just brilliant. And this book was no less. It was amazing. It's basically about 2 students, PhD students, whose thesis is due, but then their professor dies. So they have to go to hell to try and save him. And it's interesting he's in hell because he's not a very nice person, and he's definitely not a very nice teacher. But they go to save him anyway because everything they want relies on them getting their thesis. And we then have this other interesting dynamic because these 2 students don't like each other. They are like academic rivals. It's very satirical about academic life and everything that goes with that. It also sort of is quite deep in the way it reflects on pinning your identity and your personality on academia, or even like beyond that, as someone who's not in academia, like one thing, and you're so much more than just that one thing, and how dangerous it can be to be like so in pursuit of one goal that you're willing to let everything else go. One thing I loved about this book is the way it interwove philosophy and fiction. And it was able to do that because the scholars were very knowledgeable about philosophy, and that was a massive part of their academic life. So it slotted into the fiction very naturally, and it was just so good. I've never read anything where they intertwined so much. It did make me feel quite existential a lot, especially I would read this a lot before work, just because I do read before work most days, and I was just like, existential crisis every morning, and then I just get on with my day. But it's really good. Highly recommend. Okay, books 9 and 11 I've put together because they are 2 books from a series, and it is The Blade Itself and Before They Hanged. This is the first book and this is the second book in the First Law trilogy. I've not read the third. It is most certainly on my TBR for 2026. I loved these books. These are a heroic fantasy, or this is a heroic fantasy series, and it's a very political fantasy series, but it's so character driven. If you love character driven novels, this is like, Joe Abercrombie is the writer for you. It's so good in the way you just, I've got so many thoughts, I'm just trying to pick which one to say. You're following multiple viewpoints and you don't know how they're going to interweave like later on in the story, but you're just reading and you feel so invested in every single one. You're like reading it, and then you're like, oh, back to that one, oh, back to that one. But every single one is so good and every character is so compelling. And I think that's so rare to have, like, especially for me. I've just read like, what was it called? Questions of Travel, and there's two complete different stories in that, or 2 viewpoints or whatever, and they're separate stories. And there was one that I enjoyed so much more than the other, and I just kept wanting to go back to that one. Whereas this, whatever one I'm reading, I'm having a great time. They are also like so unputdownable. You're just reading them and you want to know what's going to happen because you feel so invested in the world and in the characters. That's another thing. The world building in this I just find great. It's so subtle, but it's there. I don't know, I feel like the way it's done through the characters is so clever. And you're learning the like political landscape of this world, but it's not being like spelled out to you, and you just sort of absorb it. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know if I know what I mean, but it's just within the book. The stories are within the book. Groundbreaking things with Jen. I just like books, guys. I'm no expert. I'm just giving you books that I had a great time reading, and I want you to have a great time reading too. If you love characters, if you love character-driven novels, if you like fantasy, if you love sort of just political, don't know what's going to happen, just human nature-y. I don't know how to outro these books. All my mind has gone blank. I've said a lot of nothing. Unputdownable, heroic fantasy. I definitely recommend reading this one. And I can't wait to tell you how the third one is. Book number 11, and my favourite book of 2025, is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And wow, this book, honestly, it's one of my favourite books ever. I can't think of the last time or the last year, I think it's the first time in about 3 years that it's been so evident to me what book was my favourite from that year. Usually I'm like, don't make me pick, it's too hard, and I don't pick. Whereas this year it's so clear to me, this book was truly outstanding. Our main character is a woman called Joan, who I think she's an astrophysicist, but she works at a university, and she basically makes the decision to go into space and be one of the first women. She doesn't like make that decision, it's not like a casual thing like, oh, I'm going to go to space. Basically, NASA decide that they're going to send women into space. It's going to be the first women who have ever gone into space ever, and Joan applies to be one of those women. Spoiler, but not spoiler because it's on the blurb, she is one of them. And it's incredible. It truly is. It's so much more than just a book about a woman going into space. The book's full title is Atmosphere, a Love Story. And there is an amazing love story in this book. It's so heartfelt and it's so subtle the way it creeps up on you. I think it really shows the value in loving someone and also like the value in being loved. And there's so much platonic love in this book too. We have Joan's relationship with her niece, and that connection and that relationship is just beautiful. There's so much reflection on what it means to be human, on what it means to be a part of this world, and it really is just wonderful. Like, it's just like, thinking about it, I just want to like, I don't know, I've said this before about this book and I will keep saying it because I think it's such a rare thing for a book to do. This book genuinely made me like myself more, and for a book to do that and for a book to feel like it's giving you such a sense of understanding of yourself is so rare, especially for a fiction book to do that. I just think it's truly, truly magical. The final thing I will say on this book is I loved how often we have quite fiery main characters in Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. When I think of like Carrie Stoker is Back or The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, we have these quite fiery, I don't want to say aggressive, but you know, strong-willed women who are amazing and they're determined to get what they want and they will get it. But Joan is very soft and she's very, I don't know, I felt like I saw a lot more of myself in her than I did the other characters. And I think Taylor Jenkins Reid was saying, you know, you're still a very strong woman even if you're very soft. I think she just wanted to show a different representation of a strong woman, and I really, really appreciate that because it looks different on everyone. I just think this book's great and I think you should read it. I think you should read all of these books, but of course there is not all the time in the world. If you had to read one, which one would it be? Or are you going to read one? Which one are you going to read first? Comment below. Or have you read any of them and did you love them? I hope you did, because I loved them. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps my channel grow, and then I get to talk to more people about books, and I love talking about books, so it's a win-win. See you in the next one.